Welcome to About Mansfield. This is your audio newspaper. I'm Steve Casillo with the August 9th, 2024, 243rd edition. Colleen Daniel, she's out there in Studio West. We are here with the About Mansfield news team. Coming up, it's Mansfield news, talk, and information.
And a little later in the episode, you will have a chance to win a $25 gift card to a Mansfield restaurant of your choice with our Mansfield Trivia Question, courtesy of Joe Jenkins Insurance.
Let's take a look at the stories we're covering this week. Big lots slated to close in Mansfield.
What to expect when early voting starts in Mansfield.
The tastiest night of the year is coming soon.
Mansfield PD looks for a few good people. Mansfield ISD seeks Circle of Excellence nominations.
And in sports, it's a recap of Friday Night Lights and what's on tap for this weekend.
And in the talk segment, Steve talks in studio with canine-controlled dog trainer Michael Hoskinson. We are Mansfield's only source for news, talk, and information. This is About Mansfield.
Hey there, it's Luke from Cool Hand Electric. Are you tired of dealing with plugs or lights that just won't cooperate? Well, don't fret. Give us a call. Worried about power outages or surges damaging your precious electronics? We've got you covered. Whether it's a whole house generator or surge protection, our solution-oriented Cool Hands are ready to tailor the perfect option that suits your needs and budget. At Cool Hand Electric, excellence is still cool.
Cool Hand, Cool Hand, Cool Hand, where excellence is still cool.
Navigating the ever-changing real estate market can be exhausting. At the Hornburg Real Estate Group at One West, our team of experts help make the most of your home selling goals. From the ability to bring buyers multiple cash offers, offer different ways to sell your home, and even offer pay-at-close vendors, we help you get top dollar. We have a robust marketing strategy to ensure you always have options to get your home sold in the way that makes the most sense for you. Each agent at the Hornburg Real Estate Group has been expertly trained and has years of experience behind them. Find out why our clients consistently rate us 5 stars year after year. Call or text us at 817-264-7087. Again, that's 817-264-7087. Or visit us online at homesbyhrg.com.
This is Paul Duncan with Trinity Solar Services. That's right, solar. Back in the 1960s, NASA used solar cells in their space missions. But get this, the very first solar cells were actually invented back in 1883. Solar energy has made great strides over the past 140 years, but one theme remains constant: solar works. Solar panels are the MVPs of renewable energy. While reducing carbon emissions and taking a stand against climate change, solar panels can also help to greatly reduce your electric bill. Trinity Solar Services is your sun-powered solutions, and we want to deck out your home with top-notch Tier 1 panels without breaking the bank. Reach out to us today for a complimentary quote. Trinity Solar Services is a Mansfield-based company that's all about building relationships through good old-fashioned, family-owned business values. Find us online at trinitysolarservices.com. That's trinitysolarservices.com.
Hi, I'm Taronda Hillman, and you're listening to About Mansfield.
Welcome back to About Mansfield. This portion of the news is brought to you by the Grandview Event Center in Mansfield. Big Lots announced the closing of 11 of their 116 stores in Texas, including the location on North Walnut Creek Drive right here in Mansfield as part of its nationwide restructuring under Chapter 11 bankruptcy. The Ohio-based discount retailer filed for bankruptcy in Delaware less than a month ago and announced the closure of 315 stores across the United States. This marks a significant turn for Big Lots, which had initially planned to close just 35 to 40 stores. A recent filing with the Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC, revealed that Big Lots sales fell over 10% over the first quarters of 2023 and 24, a loss of $114 million. The Mansfield store joins 10 other Texas locations slated for closure, including stores in Fort Worth, Katy, and Corpus Christi. Those closures come after Big Lots entered a sales agreement with Nexus Capital Management, which is set to take over the retailer's assets and operations pending a court approval. Big Lots is one of several major retailers, such as Rite Aid and Bed Bath & Beyond, that have struggled to survive post-pandemic economic challenges. As the company restructures, customers in Mansfield will have to look elsewhere for discount shopping. Look for the Mansfield location to permanently close sometime in mid-December.
The window has closed for your opportunity to register to vote for the November 5th elections. In the event that you are already registered, early voting is closer than you think. It starts October 21st and runs through November 1st. Early voting hours vary by days, so check the hours before heading to your local voting center. Speaking of voting centers, the two usual locations for early voting are the Sub-Courthouse at 1100 East Broad Street and the Community Room of Vernon Newsom Stadium at 3700 East Broad Street. But early voting provides a convenient option for registered and eligible voters, allowing them to cast their ballots early at any early voting location within their county of residence. When arriving at a voting center, voters will need to present one of the 7 acceptable forms of photo identification, unless exempt. Those without photo ID can provide a supporting document and sign a reasonable impediment declaration. When you go to your polling place, you will likely notice a distance marker placed 100 feet from the entrance to the building. Inside that 100-foot mark, you are not allowed to post, use, or distribute any political signs or literature relating to a candidate, political party, or measure.
And Colleen, under Texas law, persons are not allowed to use wireless communications devices within 100 feet of voting stations. Additionally, persons are not allowed to use mechanical or electronic devices to record sound or images within 100 feet of the voting stations. Devices that should not be used in the polling place include cell phones, cameras, tablet or laptop computers, or sound recorders, or any other device that may communicate wirelessly or be used to record sound or images. With the November 5th presidential election approaching, it's important to be aware of what not to wear to the polls. In Texas, individuals are prohibited from wearing apparel or displaying items related to a candidate, a ballot measure, or a political party while at a polling location. A presiding judge has the authority to enforce this rule within 100 feet of the polling place entrance. If you arrive wearing such items, you may be asked to remove or cover them before entering the building.
The Mansfield Police Department is currently seeking new recruits to join its ranks, offering a chance for individuals to pursue a rewarding career in law enforcement. The department is actively encouraging applications from those passionate about serving the community, maintaining safety, and upholding justice. Ideal candidates will possess strong communication skills, a dedication to community service, and a commitment to respect and integrity. The department also highlights the importance of teamwork and a positive attitude. In addition to a competitive salary and benefits, recruits will have access to a comprehensive training program, opportunities for advancement, and a diverse and supportive work environment. For those interested, the Mansfield Police Department is offering weekly test dates and invites potential applicants to learn more by visiting their website at mansfieldpolice.com or contacting their recruiting team. This recruitment drive offers a chance to make a tangible difference in the community while building a fulfilling career in law enforcement.
It's one of my favorite times of the year. It's October and the leaves are falling, pumpkin everywhere, but it's also one of my favorite events here in Mansfield because it involves food. It's called Taste of Mansfield, and here in the studio from the Mansfield Mission Center, the Director of Events and Volunteer Services is Christy Oldham. Welcome to About Mansfield.
Thank you, Steve.
And the Executive Director, Brian McFadden.
Hey.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Christy, let's start with you. Let's talk about Taste of Mansfield. When, where, and who's going to be here?
So it is Thursday, October 17th. New this year, we have a cocktail reception from 5 to 6 p.m., which is included with our foodie ticket. And then the main event is 6 to 9 p.m. It's at the Grand View, which is a new venue for us this year, and we're very excited about that. We have to, first of all, thank our sponsors.
Sure.
So Southern Champion Tray is our title sponsor for the event this year. We're very grateful to them. And then Frost and Portillo's are also sponsors for the event this year as well.
Taste of Mansfield is not only just restaurants. You got caterers, you got bakeries, you got private chefs. You want to go down the list. You don't have to do all of them, but some of the let's do some of the sexy ones that are
Sure.
that are coming.
Perfect. Yes, so we have Me Hands coming again this year. Nice. We're grateful to them. El Primo's, The Vault, Poured. We have even TCC's coming.
TCC's,
So
are they a first timer?
Yes,
nice.
For their students. We have Fish City, Blue Mint Thai, Four Sisters, Taste of Vietnam, Market Street. There's several variety.
And Market Street are regulars.
Yes.
They've been here many times, as has El Primo's / The Vault, and handing out those lamb lollipops. Oh,
right.
I hope they bring the jalapenos. The jalapeno stuffed jalapenos are my favorite.
And the spinach dip from Poured is my favorite. So
wonderful, Brian. Let's talk about because this is a fundraiser. This is the biggest fundraiser.
That's right.
For the Mansfield Mission Center. Talk about where that money goes to.
Yeah, absolutely. It is our biggest fundraiser for the year. Not only is it the tastiest night of the year in Mansfield, but it goes to a good cause. It's where we're able to provide care for families in our community who are under-resourced, whether they need food for the table to feed their kiddos, or if adults need medical care in our free medical clinic. It provides the resources for all of those things to help our families.
It sounds like a great cause.
And what's really cool is this year is our 10-year anniversary as Mansfield Mission Center. And so we're going to celebrate that at Taste of Mansfield, have a little bit of birthday cake or whatever sweet that we come up with. And we're excited that the whole community can be there to celebrate.
That is awesome. 10 years. Christy, let's give a recap. When, where, and how can people buy tickets?
Sure. It's Thursday, October 17th. Like I said, cocktail reception 5 to 6, and the main event is 6 to 9 p.m. at the Grand View here in Mansfield. Tickets can be found on our website, mansfieldmission.org, under the events tab, or you can go to our Facebook page. We've got an event on the Facebook page with all of the information, and we're doing a lot of promotion through that page as well.
Again, it's my favorite night of the year because it involves food. Why not? Taste of Mansfield, October 17th, 6 to 9 p.m. at the Grand View. I call it the Grand View Event Center. It's just one big, massive ballroom. Absolutely beautiful. 2201 Heritage Parkway in the back end of the Cellmark building. And Christy, Brian, we'll see you there.
Thank you. See you.
Yeah, thank you.
The Mansfield School District is dedicated to maintaining high standards of education and student well-being, and now is your chance to help recognize the hardworking individuals who make it all possible. Mansfield ISD is inviting nominations for its Circle of Excellence program, where outstanding employees who consistently go above and beyond to support students will be celebrated. Do you know a teacher, custodian, bus driver, staff member, or administrator that's making a difference? Now is the time to shine a spotlight on their efforts. Simply complete the Circle of Excellence nomination form. To access the Circle of Excellence program form, go to our website, aboutmansfield.com, and click on the Links tab.
6-0 is a great way to start a 10-game season, and we'll talk about it because sports is next.
Are you ready to create unforgettable memories? Picture this, an enchanting event venue nestled amidst breathtaking landscapes with panoramic views right here in Mansfield. The Grand View Event Center is the perfect setting to bring your vision to life. From intimate gatherings to large-scale extravaganzas, the Grand View has flexible spaces to accommodate any occasion, be it a wedding reception, corporate Christmas party, or community gathering. Book your next unforgettable experience at thegrandviewmansfield.com. That's thegrandviewmansfield.com. The Grand View Event Center, where memories are made and dreams become reality. Book your event today.
I'm Philip Washington, Chief Investment Officer of Stonehill Wealth Management and host of the Wealth Building Made Simple podcast. First book I read in college was Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and it changed my life. And since then, I've read tons and tons of books on money. And what I've done is taken those lessons, simplified them, and I talk about those lessons on my podcast, Wealth Building Made Simple. So come hang out with us. We're on every major platform, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and on YouTube, Wealth Building Made Simple.
At Methodist Mansfield Medical Center, we've been caring for our home team for over 15 years. Today, you'll find award-winning physicians on the medical staff, advanced neurosurgery, a level 3 trauma center, critical care for newborns, and comprehensive orthopedic care. Methodist Mansfield, delivering the care our friends, neighbors, and home team depend on. That's community, and why so many people trust Methodist.
In sports, what do Mesquite, Summit, Martin, Waco, Midway, Boswell, and Lake Ridge all have in common? They have all been defeated by your 6-0 Mansfield Tigers. Thursday night at Newsom Stadium, the Tigers donned pink socks and took down Lake Ridge 49-14. The socks were in recognition of Pink Out Night, the school district's way of honoring Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Also celebrating victories were Timberview downed Seguin 38-24. Summit toppled the Colony 45-21, while Legacy routed Weatherford in their first win of the season 55-14. Looking ahead to this week's games, your Mansfield Tigers host Crowley Thursday night at Newsom. Summit and Timberview go head-to-head Friday night at Newsom. This will be Timberview's Pink Out game. On the road Friday night, Lake Ridge travels to North Crowley, while Legacy plays in Saginaw. All games start at 7 p.m. Highs and lows from around the state. The highest scoring game this week, Waco Valor Prep downed Belleville Faith 148-112. On average, that's 37 7-point touchdowns. The lowest scoring game in the state, Cotulla traveled 2 hours to take down Stockdale and drove home with a win of 6-0. The two teams qualifying for the biggest goose egg in the state this week, Richardson routed Irving, while Strawn routed Ranger. The scores 86-0 in both games. If you have a comment about the show, the news, whatever's on your mind locally, the good, the bad, the ugly, you know where to reach us. You can reach us by voicemail at 817-435-2938. Again, that's 817-435-2938. This coming Saturday, October 12th, is National Chess Day. It was back in October 9th, 1976, that President Gerald Ford proclaimed National Chess Day to celebrate the game. Chess is a complex game that has captivated players and viewers for centuries. It's also a universal language that has broken down barriers. Here are some ways to celebrate National Chess Day. How about hosting a tournament? Create a club, put on a chess festival, teach a community lesson, play a game or two with friends, or perhaps just go to the store and buy a new chess set. The top 5 must-see chess movies according to the International Movie Database, or IMDb, include The Dark Horse, Pawn Sacrifice, Queen of Katwe, Bobby Fischer Against the World, and ranked number 1 on IMDb from 1993 is Searching for Bobby Fischer. Of course, the series Queen's Gambit is also highly recommended. In any event, if you're looking for a game this Saturday to honor National Chess Day, be aware of the Fool's Mate, where your opponent will attempt a checkmate in just 2 moves. It's doable.
Coming up after the break, we turn the page to the features section.
Today, we're diving into the world of healthy snacks. I'm Angel Biasatti, and we'll be talking about it next in Methodist Mansfield News to Know.
Curious what home updates don't bring a return on investment? I'm Angela Hornburg, and we'll talk about it in the Mansfield Real Estate Update.
In this week's Cocktail of the Week, we're diving into a drink that's sweeter than your grandmother's praise and saltier than a sailor's vocabulary.
We are Mansfield's only source for news, talk, and information. I'm Colleen Daniel, and this is About Mansfield.
This portion of the news is brought to you by the Grandview Event Center in Mansfield.
Hey there, it's Luke from Cool Hand Electric. Are you tired of dealing with plugs or lights that just won't cooperate? Well, don't fret. Give us a call. Worried about power outages or surges damaging your precious electronics? We've got you covered. Whether it's a whole house generator or surge protection, our solution-oriented Cool Hands are ready to tailor the perfect option that suits your needs and budget. At Cool Hand Electric, excellence is still cool.
Cool Hand, Cool Hand, Cool Hand, where excellence is still cool.
Hey, it's Steve Casillo, and are you ready to make your voice heard? Want to bring out your ideas to life through captivating conversations and engaging visuals? Look no further than Podcast Mansfield Recording Studio, your one-stop destination for award-winning audio and video podcast recording. Equipped with cutting-edge microphones, crystal clear audio recording, and high-definition cameras, we're here to turn your ideas into engrossing content. But it's not just about the equipment. We're dedicated to bringing out the best in your content. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, we're here to elevate your podcasting game. We'll even help you with intro music, transitions, voiceover, and that professional polish that sets your podcast apart. So whether you're into interviews, storytelling, or simply sharing your expertise, Podcast Mansfield can help bring your podcasting dreams to life. Visit podcastmansfield.com. Podcast Mansfield, where creating your podcast masterpiece has never been easier.
Congratulations to Carol Cooper, who knew that an annual fishing license is required of any resident who fishes in the public waters of Texas, including within the Mansfield Parks system, and it costs $30 a year for citizens under the age of 65. When we come back, this week's trivia question. I'm Colleen Daniel, and this is About Mansfield.
Hi, this is Joe Jenkins with Joe Jenkins Farmers Insurance, specializing in auto, home, commercial, and life insurance. I was born and raised here in Mansfield, Texas. We're active in the community, and Mansfield's a town we really care about. Our office has over 30 years' experience in the insurance industry, and we're passionate about what we do and about customer service. For a free quote, please visit our website at joejenkinsinsurance.com or give us a call at 817-472-6058. Once again, that website is joejenkinsinsurance.com.
It is time right here, right now for the highly coveted, wildly popular About Mansfield Trivia Question. If you are the first person to email the correct answer to trivia@aboutmansfield.com, you will receive a $25 gift card to a Mansfield area restaurant of your choice, brought to you by Joe Jenkins Insurance. Whether you're looking for homeowners, auto, commercial, or any other type of insurance, Joe has helped Mansfield area residents understand the best insurance coverage that best fit their needs since 2010. You can find him on the internet at joejenkinsinsurance.com. Colleen, I yield the mic to you.
Well, Steve, Mansfield used to have a full-service gas station at the corner of Broad and Main Streets. The grand opening in June of 1951 consisted of young ladies giving away carnations and balloons. After 50 years, the family-owned full-service filling station was closed. This week's trivia question is, what was the name of the full-service filling station that occupied the corner of Main and Broad Streets for 50 years? Email your answer to trivia@aboutmansfield.com. Again, what was the name of the full-service filling station that occupied the corner of Main and Broad for 50 years? Good luck, and thanks to Joe Jenkins Insurance for the gift card.
Hi, I'm Stevie Dawn Carter, Executive Director of the Fleetwood Project, and you're listening to About Mansfield.
Welcome back to About Mansfield, your audio newspaper. Let's open up the features section. Angel Biassatti's going a little nuts when it comes to healthy snacks in Methodist Mansfield News to Know. Angel?
Today, we're diving into the world of healthy snacks. And whether you're looking for something to curb those mid-afternoon cravings or a nutritious option to fuel your workouts, we got you covered. So let's get started. Snacking often gets a bad rap, but when done right, it can be an essential part of a healthy diet. The key is to choose snacks that are nutritious and satisfying. Let's consider some of the best foods for healthy snacking. My favorite, fresh fruits and vegetables. They're not only low in calories, but they're packed with vitamins, minerals, and fiber. Here are some. Apple slices with peanut butter, yum. A classic combination that's both sweet and savory. The fiber in apples and the protein in peanut butter make this a balanced snack. Carrots and celery sticks with hummus. Crunchy vegetables paired with protein-rich hummus provide a satisfying crunch and a dose of healthy fats. Berries, blueberries, strawberries, and raspberries are all high in antioxidants and perfect for a sweet treat without the guilt. Another favorite is nuts and seeds. Nuts and seeds are another fantastic snack option. They're full of healthy fats, protein, and fiber, which can keep you full between meals. Almonds. A small handful of almonds can provide a good source of vitamin E, magnesium, and healthy fats. Chia seed pudding. Mix chia seeds with your favorite milk and let it sit overnight. In the morning, you'll have a delicious and nutritious pudding that's rich in omega-3 fatty acids. Trail mix. Make your own trail mix with a variety of nuts, seeds, and a touch of dried fruit for natural sweetness. Just be mindful of portion size. Protein-packed snacks. Protein is crucial for keeping you full and maintaining your energy level throughout the day. Greek yogurt with honey and nuts. It's high in protein than regular yogurt, and a drizzle of honey and some nuts for crunch. Hard-boiled eggs. They're easy to prepare and packed with protein. Hard-boiled eggs are a convenient snack for on the go. Edamame. These young soybeans are rich in protein and fiber, making them a perfect snack. You can enjoy them steamed with a sprinkle of sea salt. And let's not forget the whole grains, which are another excellent source of energy and fiber. Popcorn. Air Pop popcorn is a whole grain and can be a healthy snack if you skip the butter and opt for a sprinkle of nutritional yeast or your favorite herbs and spices. Whole grain crackers with cheese. Pair whole grain crackers with a piece of cheese for a balanced snack that includes protein and healthy carbs. Oatmeal cups. Make mini oatmeal cups using rolled oats, mashed banana, and a touch of honey. Bake them in a muffin tin for a portable and wholesome snack. And don't forget, drink plenty of water. Staying hydrated is essential for overall health, and some snacks can help with that too. Here are a couple of hydrating snacks. Cucumber slices. Cucumbers are high in water content and make a refreshing snack, especially on these hot summer days. Watermelon, another hydrating option. Watermelon is sweet, juicy, and low in calories. Remember to have a variety of healthy snacks to keep you fueled and satisfied throughout the day. The key to healthy snacking is to choose options that provide a good balance of nutrients. Thanks for tuning in to Healthy Bites and happy snacking. I'm Angel Biasatti, reporting for About Mansfield podcast.
Angela Hornburg is here to address 4 necessary home updates that don't bring a return on investment in the Mansfield real estate market update. Angela?
Believe it or not all home improvements bring a return on investment. I oftentimes meet with homeowners who have made wonderful updates and additions to their home, and they're sad to learn that the things they've done don't make their home worth more in the resale market. To be clear, the items I'm going to mention are great things that you can do to your home. The point that I want to be sure you understand is that when you do these things, you should do them for your own enjoyment while you live in your home, but that you will not see a dollar-for-dollar return in the resale market. The top 4 home updates that people are surprised do not bring a return are roofs, HVAC systems, water heaters, and windows. Why is that? Well, when someone is purchasing a home, they have a minimum expectation that a home will have all of these systems in good working order when they expect to pay market value. While it is true that someone will not pay you market value if they're close to the end of their useful life or broken, buyers' expectations are that these home components will be working order at all times. Let's talk about roofs. Roofs are obviously necessary, and they must be insurable for a new buyer at the time of the sale, which means that if your roof is not insurable due to condition, you would need to repair or replace it while paying your deductible. Because you paid your deductible, this does not mean your home is worth that much more. An insurable roof is an expectation of buyers when they pay market value. Moving on to HVAC systems, these too are an expectation of buyers when they want to pay market value. They expect that the home has working HVAC systems in good condition that are not near the end of their useful life. Because code requirements and manufacturing guidelines have changed on HVAC systems, a system that can no longer be serviced, repaired, or charged with refrigerant is almost always going to need to be replaced prior to selling when a buyer is paying market value. A newer system doesn't add value to the home, but it does make it more preferable And a newer system will help a buyer bridge the gap of value between what they want to pay and what they are willing to pay when they know they won't have a big expense coming after closing. The same is true with water heaters. Water heaters are not difficult to replace, which is why a lot of homeowners choose to forego the permit with the city and do it themselves. What happens in these instances is that the homeowner saves about $500 to $750 to do it themselves, and then they end up paying 3 to 4 times that amount when they're under contract to have a plumber do it correctly. For buyers purchasing a home with an FHA or VA loan, the appraiser does look at the water heater to be sure it meets basic visual requirements, and if it doesn't, the lender will require it to be remedied prior to closing. Replacing a water heater doesn't add value to the home because, again, it is an expectation that the home will have a working water heater. Last, let's talk about the big one that is windows. Windows are a complex one because cosmetically they can greatly change the appearance of a home to make it look much more updated. When a homeowner chooses a new window frame that is more updated than perhaps what their home was built with, they can gain value based on the cosmetic appearance of the home in the eyes of a buyer. The challenge is that windows are so expensive that it likely is not going to be a dollar for dollar return. The real win for homeowners who replace windows are the increased energy efficiency that new windows create. This helps keep utility bills down and provides for better enjoyment in the home throughout the change of seasons. If the old windows are fogged, then this also gives a clear view out of the windows, which again provides for more enjoyment of the homeowner. While buyers do appreciate new windows, there is not an attribution of direct value that increases the home's value in the eyes of a buyer or an appraiser. With that being said, be mindful of unnecessary upgrades or upcharges when you're replacing any of these items in your home. Also keep in mind that you should do these things to enjoy the benefit of living in your home, so don't wait to do them until right before you sell, or you may find yourself in regret for not being able to enjoy them while you live there. Reporting for the About Mansfield podcast, I'm Angela Hornburg, broker with One West Real Estate.
Shaken or stirred, you know it's going to be good as Brian Certain serves up a salty, sweet concoction in the cocktail of the week. Brian?
This week's cocktail of the week is the salted caramel martini. Picture this. You're in a swanky autumn soiree and someone hands you a glass filled with liquid amber, rimmed with glistening crystals. One sip and suddenly you're transported to a world where leaves are always golden, pumpkins are always perfectly carved, and your taste buds are doing the cha-cha slide. What is this magical elixir, you ask? Well, hold on to your cocktail shakers, folks, because we're about to dive into the delicious world of the salted caramel martini. Now, the salted caramel martini is a relative newcomer to the cocktail scene, born from the salted caramel craze that I personally love, that swept the culinary world in the early 2010s. It's like the martini decided to get a makeover and came back as the cool kid everyone wants to hang out with. The origins of this indulgent cocktail are as murky as the drink itself, but it likely emerged from creative bartenders looking to capitalize on the popular flavor combination of sweet and salty. It's a testament to the ongoing evolution of the martini, proving that this classic cocktail template is as versatile as it is timeless. But as always, don't worry about taking notes as I'm giving the ingredients and instructions. You can always find them posted every Wednesday on bourbongospel.com. Ingredients. You're going to need 2 ounces of vanilla vodka. You're going to need 1 ounce of caramel-flavored liqueur, like Bailey's salted caramel. You're going to need a ½ ounce of butterscotch schnapps, a 1/4 ounce of simple syrup, a pinch of sea salt, ice, and then for the rim of your glass, caramel salt and flaky sea salt, and a garnish of caramel sauce. Now, let's walk through how to mix up this liquid dessert. First, prepare your glass. Dip the rim in the caramel sauce, then in the flaky sea salt, then set aside. In a shaker, fill with ice, combine the vanilla vodka, the caramel liqueur, the butterscotch schnapps, the simple syrup, and a pinch of salt. Then shake vigorously for about 15 seconds. You want it cold enough to make a polar bear shiver. And then strain into your prepared martini glass. Garnish with a light drizzle of caramel sauce on top. If you're feeling fancy, use a toothpick to create a swirl pattern. Now, take a minute to admire your handiwork. then sip and enjoy. So why is this the perfect cocktail for fall cocktail month? Well, let me count the ways. First, it captures the essence of autumn's flavor palette. The caramel and butterscotch notes evoke memories of candied apples and Halloween treats, while the hint of salt adds complexity and balance to the sweetness, much like how a crisp breeze cuts through a warm autumn day. Texture-wise, it's silky smooth with slight viscosity that coats the palate, reminiscent of the way a warm scarf hugs your neck on a chilly evening. The vanilla vodka provides a subtle warmth, mimicking the comfort of your favorite fall sweater. Visually, it's a showstopper. The amber liquid catches the light like golden leaves in the sun. And while the salty rim adds a frosty touch, just as if Jack Frost himself gave your glass a little kiss. But most importantly, it's versatile. It works as a dessert cocktail, an after-dinner sipper, or even a decadent treat to enjoy while handing out Halloween candy. It's sophisticated enough for a fancy autumn dinner party, yet approachable enough for a casual night in. The Salted Caramel Martini is more than a drink, it's an experience. It's autumn's greatest hits album distilled into liquid form and served in a martini glass. And whether you're a sweet tooth looking for your next fix or a cocktail connoisseur seeking something new, this drink delivers on all fronts. So there you have it, the Salted Caramel Martini. It's proof that sometimes the best thing in life's are a little sweet, a little salty, and served in a martini glass. Give it a try at your next fall gathering and watch as your guests fall heads over heels for this autumnal delight. Next week, I'll be shaking up another fall favorite, so make sure to tune in. And until then, happy mixing, and as always, enjoy responsibly. But I'm always open to hear your take and your input. You can reach me at brian@bourbongospel.com. And until next week, as Mark Twain said, too much of anything is bad, but too much whiskey is barely enough. Reporting for the About Mansfield podcast, I'm Brian Certain.
We're back in 60 seconds with Steve's in-studio conversation with dog trainer Michael Hoskinson.
Imagine a city where innovation knows no bounds, where dreams take flight, and the future unfolds before your very eyes. Welcome to Mansfield, a beacon of growth and a testament to vision. In the heart of Mansfield, a remarkable transformation is underway. But it's not just about the physical landscape. It's about the spirit that drives us forward. A spirit of collaboration that bridges cultures, a spirit of entrepreneurship that fuels prosperity, and a spirit of community that binds us as one. Mansfield is more than just a place. It's a canvas where diversity paints the picture of progress. From art festivals that ignite creativity to tech hubs that redefine boundaries, this city celebrates every voice, every passion. Mansfield, where growth knows no limits and the vision is limitless. Brought to you by the unstoppable spirit of the Mansfield Economic Development Corporation.
Welcome back to another segment of About Mansfield. I'm Steve Casillo as we make the transition from news to talk. In the studio today, you know, I'm going to be right up front with you. He's a client of mine. He is a host of his own podcast. The podcast is called Canine Convos, which you can find on YouTube. And what prompted me to bring him into the studio is that I would imagine 80% of Mansfield people own a dog. And Michael Hoskinson is a professional dog trainer, not unlike many trainers that I've seen and hired myself. First of all, Michael, welcome to About Mansfield.
Thank you, sir. It's a pleasure being here. I appreciate the opportunity.
How long have you been a dog trainer?
Ooh, that's a good one. So if I add it all up from like the first time I ever started training dogs, 1990, so we're going on about 34 years.
Wow.
It was off and on for a while there. I mean, I was in college and I did it part-time as an apprentice. And then it's always been something I've done.
Yeah.
Just here and there. And I've been in almost every arena there is to think about. But in 2005, I made the transition over to nothing but civilian. And this is all I have done is train dogs in the North Texas area since 2005.
So prior to 2005, you were doing You're doing civilian now. What were you doing before?
Well, I did a lot on the military police side. I've actually done some work with Grand Prairie back several years ago, helped them with one of their dogs. I do some consulting from time to time with the locals, but it's far and few in between now. So military, then I also did a stint with some, I guess they call it executive security dogs. So they're like high dollar dogs that would go to celebrities and live with their families and stuff like that. Protection aspect. So, I was in that area.
Security dogs that also go through drug sniffing dogs?
I've done all of that. So your drug sniffing, bomb sniffing, munitions, SAR, search and rescue, cadaver dogs, all that fun stuff.
Question then is why? Why? What got you into dog training? And what was it that stuck with you all these years?
So, why? That is a good one. Why? When I started, why?
Yeah.
Because so that's the funny story is when my dad was in the military, bit of a hard ass. So we came up a little bit different. I could never have a dog growing up. I never really understood why. Growing up, I always wanted a German Shepherd, and he was like, no, absolutely not. So the two things I couldn't have growing up was a tattoo and a German Shepherd. So,
and now you own both.
For sure. So I was in college, 5.5 hours away from him, and the first week I had both. I had my first tattoo and my first German Shepherd.
Okay.
So
because you're pretty well sleeved in the tats.
Yes, that I am. And I mean, it just from there, so I take it for its first vet appointment. So I had to buy a kennel, and I had to buy a bed, and I had to buy food, and then I had to go to the vet. Well, an 18-year-old doesn't think about this. And I had worked all summer. I had money. But when I went in there, I was like, wait a second, that's a little bit of chunk and change out of my savings. I didn't plan on having a job. Well, apprentice dog trainer came up in the newspaper, right? Yeah. So I was like, oh.
What's a newspaper?
Yeah, right, exactly. So I'm dating my age a little there, huh? But yeah, that's how it all started. And it's just, I had such a fun time with that initial dog, and she was an amazing animal. She did everything, anything you can imagine. That dog would climb a ladder, get on top of a roof. Anything I wanted her to do, she would do.
And the dog's name was?
Chelsea. Chelsea of Amberwood.
Chelsea, the German Shepherd. Mm-hmm. How many German Shepherds? How many dogs have you owned since Chelsea?
So I've only owned a total of 3. Chelsea was 16 and a half when I had to put her down. Mm-hmm. And then the other shepherds went 12 to 13 years. So then I had so she was about 112 pound female shepherd. Not an American line breed. I prefer the big ones, old school German style ones. Then I had Sarge. Sarge was he was a killing machine. He was a good one. He was 120 pounds. And I think he was 12 and a half or 13 when he had to get put down. And then Gunner was my last one. He was the worst trained of any of my dogs, and still run circles around 90% of the even work dogs out there right now.
So you don't own a dog right now? Or
no, I'm in between.
You're in between.
Okay.
Are you constantly looking for the right German Shepherd?
So this is what's crazy is the next one's going to be a Dutch Shepherd.
Oh, okay.
So the days of 100+ pound dogs in my house are over. Something closer to that 65, 70 pound range. The problem is if I get a dog, it's going to be perfect. And that's going to require about 3.5 hours of training a day, 7 days a week for the first 9 months I have the dog. Mm-hmm. And if I don't have time to put that in and do it, then I'm not going to have a dog.
Are you saying that the average person who owns the average dog needs to put in 3.5 hours a day of training their dog?
If they want a $100,000 dog.
Yeah.
No, 30 minutes a day, 6 5-minute sessions a day, doing specialized work with your dog that I line up for people goes a very, very long ways for them.
My dog knows how to sit. My dog knows how to shake. Am I good?
Yeah. Does he make you happy?
Both dogs make – one gives me a little anxiety, but that's
So then maybe the one with a little anxiety needs a little work, right?
Okay, yeah,
like we all do. We all need a little work, right? We could all be a little better. But
Sure.
the thing that people have to understand is I always ask my clients for, what are your goals? What do you want out of the dog? It's not about what I want their dog to be.
Right.
It's about what they want out of their dog. And just depending on what they want structures how we train and the things that we do. I don't want to give you a dog like one of mine because people don't want that. Mine was very regimented. It was very good. People want a dog they can take to the patio and have dinner with, or go to the park and push their stroller and the dog go with them and not pull the stroller upside down and send the kid flying out of it, you know?
Right.
It's not a lot. And why fix things that aren't broke? So if there's things you like about your dog and it's not causing you problems, it's the perfect dog for you.
What's the one misnomer when it comes to I've adopted a 100-pound dog. I know nothing about training this dog. What's the one misnomer that people have made between, you mentioned 2005 is when you started doing civilians only. The misnomer when it comes to training a dog.
I think the biggest thing that gets people in trouble is they think it's going to be easy. It's like, oh, I'll just buy a few treats and tell it this and that, and the dog's going to pick up on it. And we're going to have this wonderful life.
But isn't it like raising a child? Raising a child's easy, isn't it?
Oh, so easy. I have 5 of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. No, it's work and it's structure and it's boundaries. And I guess ultimately, you know, with kids, I have that obligation, that duty as a parent to make sure they can survive in the world and prosper and be good on their own. I'm not going to be here forever. And I guess with a dog, I just want them to be able to be in the world and not a nuisance.
Right.
You know, the more places you can take your dog, the more you're going to enjoy it. The more your dog, I would think, would enjoy it, hanging out with you on the patio, you know, down at Jake's, having a bourbon and a cigar, as opposed to you doing it without your dog.
When I go out to the patio with my dogs, there's maybe about 30 seconds of excitement. They're running circles and chasing their tail and blah, blah, blah. And then they are the type of dog that just, yeah, like you mentioned, sits with you in the patio. That's the portion, the anxiety part that I would like to get rid of is that first 30 seconds. You had mentioned on your podcast, a typical dog wants to be the first out the door.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And why is that?
Well, if it gets out the door first, it gets to control that new room that you went into, whether it's out the door, whether that's going into the kitchen from the living room. Mm-hmm. They don't care. They just want to be first. That's why if people have 2 dogs, they about bust the frame down getting out the door, seeing which one can get out the door first. So
I'm going to be first. I got to be first. I'm going to be first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, be first. Yeah. Well, if it gets out the door first outside, then your dog has to go run that perimeter and kind of make sure it scares all the squirrels and other dogs away, so that dad's safe to come outside and have his cigar and his bourbon.
But dad isn't it supposed to be the other way around? That dad is in charge.
1,000%. So does that give you anxiety when you see your dogs have to do that?
When I open the patio door, yeah, it's usually the Copper. Our Copper's a shepherd mix, and he's totally amped up. Sometimes he'll sit there. I will tell him to sit before I open the door, and he's there shaking.
Visibly shaking, ready to go.
Yes. That I cannot wait to get outside because – yeah, I have to make my place a better place for my dad.
Exactly. He's going to make sure everything's safe and secure in that backyard so you don't have to. And I mean, it's fine. It's cute. It's lovely, right? And I never really worry about stuff like that until either one, the owner says, hey, I don't like that. That needs to change. I don't need to my wife open the door and Copper blow by and knock her down, blow her knee out. And then we have problems there. Or if it's related to an anxiety that your dog is actually having, because then it becomes specific to a behavioral issue your dog's having, and I don't want my dogs to feel anxiety and stress.
He's pretty anxious as it is, and we're recording this on September 23rd. It rained this morning. Not only did it rain this morning, there was lightning and thunder this morning. We were woken up about 4:30 this morning to a nervous dog. He does not sleep on the bed, but he will put his paws up on the bed when he's anxious.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, our entire bed is shaking. And so,
like a cheap bed in Motel 8 back in the 70s.
I tell you what. Then so he's anxious around lightning. He's anxious around, we live right across the street from the high school, so he's anxious at marching band metronomes. He's anxious at high school football whistles. And then to go outside. He cannot wait to go outside. He shakes and shakes and like, I'm going to be the first outside. But I know there is a way to cure that.
There is. It's kind of two separate issues. So the visible shaking when he goes outside to the backyard is more of an excitement, and it's all caused from adrenaline. His adrenaline rate comes up. So when the adrenaline rate in the body goes up in any mammal, if their muscles aren't moving, they shake. It's the equivalent of if someone gets in a wreck and they're sitting there and their body starts trembling. It's because of the adrenaline.
Right.
So he's adrenalized, getting ready to go out there. Now, it's different when you have like some sort of noise or thunderstorm anxiety. So now the adrenaline is actually preparing for flight. He is fearful. He is not happy. That's anxiety. Is it fixable? Yeah. And it all comes down to providing leadership for the dog so the dog understands that dad is going to handle whatever that is that makes that dog feel anxious. They can hear it, but they can't see it. They can't feel it, but they can't see it. So they know that thunder's out there. They feel the drop in the barometric pressure. Right. Although there's static electricity in the air. Some dogs are much more sensitive to that than other dogs, which causes some anxiety in some dogs.
When you get a call from a new client, we want you to come out. We've got a situation. What is the ratio of training the dog versus training the human?
So,
big smile.
I can have the dog under control and a completely different dog in less than 10 minutes without ever touching the dog. So, stopping hyperactivity, jumping, nudging, bumping, pushing, pawing, barking, getting on furniture. And I can set a 5 to 10 foot boundary at the front door. I can do all of that without touching the dog. Less than 10 minutes. Simple, easy. I do it every day. I spend a majority of my time teaching my human.
Yeah.
How to be that positive force in your dog's life, to absorb the anxiety so that the dog doesn't have to help show how to structure and how to give the dog boundaries so that it can actually be the best dog it can be.
Because it's not 100% discipline.
No. You got to love that dog.
Yeah.
It's all about the relationship. But again, it's the relationship has got to be based on someone being in control. So as long as I'm in control, I absorb anxiety. I allow for boundaries. I make the consistency for the dog. But with that, the dog's going to get all my love, all my affection. So I prefer to reward my dog with me, with my love, with belly scratches, with booty rubs. I mean, that's what it's all about, having a dog. I don't want to motivate him to work because he gets a piece of chicken. The chicken becomes more important to me. So developing, for instance, for canine officers have a different and a unique relationship with their dog versus a civilian and their dog.
Right.
That's not to say they don't love each other and play around and horse around and do all the fun games that civilians do, but the dog operates at a different level. And most civilians, if they had that basic principle as they work their dog, the relationship would compound by 1,000,000% because they would be able to do so much more with their dog. It's so much more enjoyable.
Of being able to open up the hatch of the SUV, let the dogs jump in, and take them everywhere. Included. Well, what do you think about dog parks?
Okay, so dog parks, not a fan.
Not a fan.
Not a fan. I would never subject mine to a dog park.
It's almost like Russian roulette. You don't know what you're going to get. You could have the best dog in the world. There could be another 10 dogs out there. One of those, you're spinning the wheel of fortune
every time. 100% every time. I would be willing to bet 90% of the dogs that go to the dog parks are ill-behaved anyway. It's easier for people to drive to the dog park and let their dog run and wear itself out than it is to train their dog. So instead of dealing with their dog at night and it's all jumping and hyper and crazy because they've been gone all day, instead of working with it and actually teaching it something, it's easier to go to the dog park, let them run around and be silly out there while they check their TikToks and their Facebook page while they're sitting on the picnic bench.
Yeah.
And then go home and their dog sleeps all night because it's wore out. Agreed. I mean, a good dog is a tired dog, or a tired dog is a good dog. What's that the saying?
Yeah. Same as a child, right?
Right.
Just, put them to bed and life is
I do
good.
that with my kids all the time. They're messing up. I'm like, go run 2 miles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now you're too tired to be bad. Yeah. They take a nap. They wake up and they're still bad.
let's talk about treats. Because you mentioned it. And are treats an effective way of training a dog?
Not in my opinion. I feel it lacks any, really, honestly, if you want to talk about it deeply, that lacks any sort of intimacy with my dog as far as building relationship between it and I. I'm building relationship between my dog and a piece of food. Can you train dogs with treats? Yes. Is it efficient? No. Can you train dogs to walk on a leash? Basic obedience, come, sit, stay, things like that. Fairly easily with treats, but you will never fix things like anything behavioral, reactivity, pulling on a leash, chasing squirrels, any sort of aggression, anxieties, anything like that's never going to be fixed with food. It's just impossible.
How do you fix it?
Leadership. 1,000%. Leadership's the only way to go. Leadership is the key ingredient that people miss in that relationship between dog and human. Dogs need somebody to be in control.
Yeah.
It's just like a child. Somebody has to be in control. It's either going to be the child or the parent. So once you take that control from the dog is allowed to relax and relinquish its stress and anxiety because it knows you're in control.
You have shown some videos on your podcast. Again, it's called Canine Convos. You can look it up on YouTube. Wonderful podcast of other trainers, of other trainers who, shall we say, have made a few mistakes. To put it lightly, how is your style of training different from their style?
I think I emphasize a lot more on setting a holistic relationship between client and dog. A majority of everything I do, well, not a majority, everything I do when I start with a client is going to be in the house. And that's where 90% of the time is spent with the dog.
You're training the dog inside the house.
Absolutely. 100%. It's going to bark and rush your door. It's getting on your couch. It's sleeping in your bed. It's crawling on your countertop. It's all those things have to be addressed in the house where they actually happen.
Yeah.
And then as we install a behavior like a heel, teaching it what to do. If you just break it down, basically, if I'm in control and I'm the leader and I get that all taken care of in the house, it makes it so much easier for my dog than when I say, I need you to heel and follow me. It's like, all right, you already are in that position of authority. It makes it very simple to do a heel. Now I have reactivity or it wants to lunge or bark at another dog. Well, if I'm already in a position of authority, it makes it much easier when I tell my dog, no, please don't do that, as opposed to if I'm not. So everything builds on top of itself. It's got to start with good foundation and slowly build out. But if the human's got to get on board and get involved in that relationship.
Starts inside the house, then it moves outdoors. You ready to take it around the block, or?
Yeah. We'll go around the block. When around the block gets good, then we'll go around the neighborhood. When around the neighborhood gets good, I'll meet you at the park. When the park gets good, I'll meet you at Home Depot. When Home Depot gets good, then you can join my group class, because then you may be able to graduate to that.
Having learned some of these things from producing your podcast, I actually bring some of these ideas back to my wife. And Copper, now he's the anxious one. Bailey is the reactive one. And she says, one day I was out walking actually down the driveway, getting ready to take Bailey on a walk, and it lunged at a dog that was half a block away. And she said, based on what you told me and what you learned from your podcast, was I actually turned the dog back around and we restarted and we did it properly. So down the driveway, it behaved. We could move to the next step, and it was, we can leave the property.
Yep.
And
it's a simple recipe.
I guess number one was thank you.
No, it's very simplistic in nature.
Yeah.
And I think that's what people have trouble with. It's like, well, it can't be that effective if it's simple. And that's just like the craziest thing I've ever heard, because the simplest answer for most things is usually going to be the best answer for it too.
We're talking with Michael Hoskinson of K9 Control, and be sure to listen to the conclusion of this interview next week to take advantage of a special offer just for About Mansfield listeners. In the meantime, this is the place where you will hear the latest Mansfield news, talk, and information. Until then, don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, share, love, or support this podcast if you haven't already, so you never miss an episode. It's free and it's easy. Head on over to our website, aboutmansfield.com. Enter your email address right there on the homepage. We will never send you any spam. We promise.
About Mansfield is recorded at Podcast Mansfield Recording Studio. Hosts Steve Casillo and Colleen Daniel. Moment with the Mayor feature, Michael Evans. Methodist Mansfield News to Know, Angel Biasatti. Mansfield Real Estate Market Update, Angela Hornburg. Cultural Arts Calendar, Tim Roberts. Cocktail of the Week, Brian Sarton. Post-production editing, mixing, and mastering, Steve Casillo and Andrew Miner.
This podcast is copyrighted by Podcast Mansfield Recording Studio for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this podcast without written consent is prohibited. We thank you all for listening. On behalf of the entire news team, I'm Steve Casillo, and this is About Mansfield.